Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Rob Charach, and I have the privilege to host our virtual early years information evening. Tonight, you are going to have a chance to hear from Heather Karr, our early years vice principal, and we're going to hear from our admissions officer, Joanne Ritchie. You're going to have a chance to have a virtual tour of the school, which I know you'll enjoy, and then there'll be a time for some Q&A. So before we do anything, let me open in a word of prayer, and then we'll begin our evening. Father, we thank you for the opportunities that we have to invest in our children's education and their future. And Lord, I pray for the families that are joining us tonight. I pray, Lord, that you would give them wisdom and direction. And I pray you bless our evening. We ask this in your name. Amen. Well, Linden Christian School is built on a foundation of a vision, mission, and core values. And I want to share a video with you that really walks you through those foundational elements of our school community. Thank you for joining us to learn more about Linden Christian School. My name is Robert Charach, and I have the privilege of serving as the principal and CEO of Linden Christian School. This is my 21st year as an administrator at LCS and the 15th year as the principal. And I'm pleased to have this opportunity to tell you about our school. 34 years ago, Linden Christian began with 33 students and 3 staff. Today, there are over 960 students representing over 130 churches. 120 dedicated staff serve the school community. Linden is a K-12 school with 3 classes in each grade, and next year we are planning for grades 7, 10, and 11 to have 4 classes. Kindergarten will have 2 full-time classrooms and 1 part-time class, and our part-time kindergarten students will attend school on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Linden is a member of the Manitoba Federation of Independent Schools, and the MFIS represents over 14,000 students in our province. The school is also a member of the Association of Christian Schools International. Linden delivers education based on the Manitoba curriculum with biblical integration and a commitment to a standard of excellence in every discipline of study. Christian education allows for education of the whole child, intellectually, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Kenneth Gangle, a writer, shares this important distinction about Christian education. The purpose of Christian schools is to present our children, as clearly as possible, the truth about God, about life, about our world and everything in it, and to present the Word of God as the authoritative source upon which to build a life that has purpose and meaning. This is a powerful statement that is foundational to what we believe at Linden Christian School and work to develop in our students. It is our desire to partner with parents to achieve this purpose. Now let's take a look at the foundational values that our school has been built on. First of all, our mission. Our mission outlines the school's purpose. With a commitment to excellence, Linden Christian School provides a Christ-centered education that equips students to love and serve God. And the vision, on the other hand, is a central part of what we are attempting to achieve. Linden Christian School will be a biblically based learning community where all students grow to be devoted followers of Christ, insightful thinkers, discerning decision makers, and compassionate community members. Your understanding and support of the vision is very important for a number of reasons. The decisions and choices that we make as school leaders are filtered through our vision. Our vision provides us with the meaning for what we do. Our vision acts as a compass bearing for the future, for guiding the school into the future. The vision of Linden Christian School sets it apart from other schools. Other schools have important missions and visions. However, they will be different from our own. A foundational part of our vision is supporting each student to grow to be a devoted follower of Christ. It is our hope that each one of our students will realize their potential and gifting so they can serve others and make a positive impact in our world. There's a biblical mandate for Christian parents to teach their child with a biblical worldview. And Linden Christian School can be an important support to that calling through the teachers and staff that promote healthy, supportive relationships throughout the school community. I like to say that the heart of a Christian school is the classroom, and the heart of every classroom is the teacher. All our teachers are committed followers of Christ, and they are committed to instructing, guiding, and mentoring their students. The impact of a godly role model is one of the most important aspects of a Christian education can offer. Each teacher becomes the living curriculum, representing the values and characteristics and traits that we want to develop in our students. This is particularly important during the early years when the core of the child's belief system is formed and will influence them the rest of their lives. Linden is a Christian school where students are encouraged to have a growing and meaningful relationship with God. And we have the freedom to use the scripture to inform instruction and to help students form a biblical worldview. Students are taught that placing Christ at the center of their lives is the path to a fulfilling and meaningful life. Weekly chapels in all divisions of the school build community through practical application of biblical principles and worship. Parents are always welcome to attend chapels, and throughout the school year, a number of special chapels and events are hosted for the school community. We encourage our students to live their faith in practical ways and to grow to be compassionate community members. Teachers, staff, and students work together to find age-appropriate outreach activities that honor our vision, impact lives, and teach our students to look beyond themselves. We believe that each child has gifts, and we want to see those gifts grow and mature. Our school has a strong focus on academic growth and spiritual development. Over 90% of our students go on to post-secondary education and are excelling in many different areas of study. In conclusion, Christian education is about parents, teachers, and leadership working together to achieve the goal of being truly educated. It is an investment in your children's future that I believe is well worth making. Linden Christian is committed to excellence and building a community where your children have the potential to thrive and develop relationships that will carry on with them into adulthood.
Well, I hope that gives you a good understanding of what the core values of the school are. And one of the core values we have is to create a safe and caring learning community. And I'd like to take a few minutes just to unpack some of the things that steps we have taken to protect the school community during this pandemic. Things like posting signage to make sure people know what is required of them before entering the school and while they're in the school. Our signage affirms public health directives related to physical distancing, hand washing, and wearing a mask. Arrows and other directional signage are in place to direct students and overall community movement. We also have designated areas of the school to specific grades and cohorts. This allows us to minimize students' movement and to protect the integrity of our cohort system. Numerous classroom layouts have been redone to meet physical distancing requirements, and you'll see a lot more of our tables moved out, and they've been replaced by desks this year. Recesses, lunch breaks, and events like chapels look different. We have more of them so that there are less students together at a given time to protect the cohort integrity. Our before and after school program was also revamped, so the cohorts, the specific grades, they stay together. We've hired additional staff for supervisory duties. The frequency of cleaning and disinfecting and sanitizing high-touch surfaces in common and shared areas has been increased significantly. And we put hand sanitizing stations outside each of the classrooms. And to minimize the potential for virus transmission, we have our rooms designated to be used by students or staff that present any symptoms of cold, flu, or COVID. And while we've had only a handful of positive cases of COVID, we are very grateful there has been no school community transmission, which has resulted from those. The last thing I want to share is we have a shared facility with Grant Memorial, and we work very closely with the church to ensure all the public health directives are consistently applied throughout the building. So hopefully that gives you a good understanding of the steps that we have taken to keep our community safe. Now, I want to let you watch a short video now that was filmed about a year ago. It'll give you an idea of what life is like for earlier students, and you'll hear from one of our key teachers. Let's watch the video.
grade 4. I've been going to Linden since kindergarten. I like the teachers. They're really nice and they help me a lot.
My name is Rob Charach, and I have the privilege to serve as the principal and CEO of Linden Christian School, and this is my 20th year in that role. Christian education really begins at the home, and a Christian school can come alongside and support families in that process. Linden is unique in that it is a K-12 school, so we have, in many cases, the privilege to see children develop right from kindergarten to grade 12. It really is about relationships with other students. A number of our students will carry these relationships right into university and later throughout their entire lives, and that is a wonderful thing. It's relationships with the teachers. You know, our teachers deeply care for their students. They support them and pray for them, and they interact with them, so that's a blessing.
I got a surgery done last week in my mouth, and my teacher and my class, they've been praying for me, and I'm really grateful for that. If I'm having a problem, she doesn't get upset and say, you should be listening more. She just kindly helps me.
Hi, I'm Karen Schrader and I teach grade 4. I've been here since 2001. So a long time. We get to teach to the whole child. So we're not just teaching someone's academic needs, but we get to address their emotional, their mental, and also their spiritual needs as well. And so that's a really important piece that Christian education provides. Everything that we do is from a Christian perspective. So whether it's addressing behavior issues, it's understanding that that child is made in the image of God and they are precious and loved by Him, and that we all mess up and all make mistakes and works in progress. So we deal with grace and in love, but also understanding that there's a big picture in this and that it's a teaching opportunity. So that's one aspect of it. And then all of our curriculum is integrated naturally from the perspective of what's God teaching us. How do we learn about His world and explore His design, whether we're learning about animals and their adaptations and how they survive in environments, to reading literature and, you know, this book says this, and what can this teach us about God and His character and who we are in Him? So everything that we do is integrated from that perspective. We invest in them knowing that it's long term. And so that's a really important piece. So of course I want them to be servants, and I want them to care about things passionately. I want them to know when they leave in the classroom at the end of the year that they are God's children, that they're loved by Him, that they've got a purpose and a plan on this world, and it's not just random or by mistake, but that they've got a really important piece of His story. And so I want them to know that deeply. I want them to be compassionate community members, and that's a huge thing that we work on, whether it's contributing to Operation Christmas Child or writing letters to the students in Anna's House, which is a grade 4 project that we work on. Anna's House is an orphanage and education center in Ethiopia. And so we raise funds for them and we write letters to them. And so we get to show students that we can make a difference. Life isn't only about them, and they're a piece of the story. We want them to look out for the needs of others and be aware of that.
Our students really are blessed to live in an incredible country, and we want them to learn the blessing of being compassionate communities and generous givers. So that really is a fabric that that's woven right through the school. We emphasize strong academics and spiritual development, and that is really foundation to what Linden is built on. And finally, ultimately, and the critical part is to encourage a relationship with God. Those relationships, student to student, student to teacher, teachers to families, and building the relationship with Jesus Christ is what our school's about.
Well, it's my privilege now to introduce Heather Karr. Heather's been an educational leader in our school for 18 years, and now she serves as the early years vice principal, and she's going to share about the early years program.
Hi, I'm Heather Karr, and I'm really excited to share with you a few important aspects of what makes LCS unique, as well as some specific information about our early years program. And so here at LCS, we believe in teaching to the whole child, not just meeting their academic needs, but also their social, emotional, and spiritual needs as well. And everything we do is from a Christian perspective. So we teach the Manitoba curriculum as outlined by the province. Our biblical worldview is integrated into all subject areas. And that's kind of really how we teach throughout our subject areas and how we interact with the children. At LCS, we currently have 3 classrooms for every grade from kindergarten to grade 4. And we have small class sizes. So in kindergarten, we have a maximum of 20 students per class, and that slowly increases to a maximum of 24 students per class in grade 4. We do have a before and after school care program as well for children under the age of 12. This program starts at 7:30 in the morning until the start of the school day, and after school it goes till 5:30. It's important to note that our before and after school program is only available on instructional school days, not on holidays or over the spring or winter break, and that it is available to all our children. So you don't need to reserve a spot ahead of time. In our early years program, academic excellence is important to us. Our students are immersed in activities and teaching that help them become proficient readers, writers, mathematicians, and scientists. You know, whether it's building and designing a floating device that can hold a certain amount of weight in grade 2, or researching animal adaptations and creating a habitat diorama in grade 4, our students just love learning about a variety of topics as they explore God's world with their teachers in meaningful ways. We also recognize that our students are often at different developmental levels within a classroom. So we address those differences with a variety of teaching strategies. One way that we address differences in reading levels, for example, is through a small group instruction that is really tailored to each child's unique reading level within the class. And at LCS, we monitor our students' reading levels in each grade. And at the conclusion of grade 4, over 95% of our students are reading at or above grade level. Besides all the exciting learning opportunities that take place in the classroom, they have a lot of specialty classes as well. They will have music classes. Our trained music teachers work with the ORF method of musical education, where children will learn music through singing, movement, instruments, listening skills, and the study of composers. Our grade 3 and 4 students will also partake in a choir class. We have performance opportunities through our music program at our Christmas and spring concerts and our school chapels. Our grade 3 and 4 choirs also perform annually at the Winnipeg Music Festival, where they regularly receive gold standing. Linden has also received awards from the music festival, which is really, I think, a testament to our commitment to excellence in our choral and band programs that go all the way through to grade 12. All of our kindergarten to grade 4 students will also receive French instruction. We teach French using the AIM method. This method uses hand gestures really to reinforce the French vocabulary and the spoken language. So there's a lot of drama, song, movement, and this all helps the students learn the themes of the French curriculum. As well, physical education is a class that our students regularly participate in. It's not only important to us that our students are active, but they have activity with a purpose. And so we really work on developing skills. And as the students move through the grades, those skills translate into learning a variety of sports. At Linden, we have several sport team opportunities in our senior years. We are a AAA school and have excellent athletic programs in the areas of volleyball, basketball, and hockey, just to name a few. Our school library is a place where our younger students love to visit and hear a story read to them. Our older students begin to learn valuable research tools and methods during their library class. Our library also has a green room where it allows students to use a green screen to create different kinds of school projects, videos. It's really exciting for them. And another highlight of going to library, definitely for the students, is taking out books to read at home with their family. We have several resources available to our students at LCS. We do have a resource department with support teachers that come alongside the classroom teachers, students, families, and support kids in the areas of reading, math, and English as an additional language. We also support students with special needs that require certain adaptations to their environment or curriculum. We have outside supports available to us as well through clinical support services. And so this would include a speech pathologist, reading clinician, and a school psychologist. And we're really thankful that those people could come alongside us and support our families. I would like to talk a little bit about the importance of the spiritual aspect of our school. So we do have Bible classes regularly, as well as Bible memory that happens from kindergarten right through to grade 12. We also have weekly chapel times where the children come to worship and learn about God. And I will talk a little bit more about chapel in the tour you'll see in a bit. We also strongly believe in teaching our students to be compassionate community members. And so each class will have some type of outreach throughout the year. And this can really look different depending on the grade level. In the early years, one thing that all of our earlier students do is participate in Operation Christmas Child, where we pack shoe boxes to send around the world. We've had a variety of other projects happen in early years as well. Some of our students have collected mittens for local missions. Some of our students have raised money for World Vision. Our grade 3 students have a relationship next door with the seniors that live there and visit them a couple times a year. And in grade 11 and 12, our students have an opportunity to go on a mission trip to Guatemala. Besides that, we do have opportunities for students to engage in different ways in the school community during the day besides a regular academic day. So for example, in grade 4, we have had a praise and worship team help us in chapel. Our grade 6 students become ambassadors that help out at recess with conflict resolution, as well as being traffic patrols along with adult supervisors. We also have a School of Fine Arts called the SOFA program. And so this program offers families private music lessons during the school day. And if that's something that your family is interested in, we do have information on our website as to what types of lessons they provide. Next, you're going to watch a tour of a few highlights from our school that are of particular interest for families that have children going into the early years, grade 1 to 4. So thanks so much for listening, and I hope that this tour helps show you a bit of our school from an early years perspective. Hi, I'm Heather Karr, the Early Years Vice Principal. Follow me. So today I'd like to take you on a tour just to show a few highlights in our school. So when you come in the school doors, to our right here we have the main office, and in the main office that's where you might pick up your children if they have to go home early. We work on attendance to the main office, and if a little kid needs an ice pack, this is where they go to. As I come down the hallway, to the left we have our grade 2 classrooms, and down to the right we have our kindergarten and grade 1 classrooms. So let's go check out a kindergarten classroom. So at LCS in kindergarten we have 3 kindergarten classes. 2 are full-time and 1 is part-time. Here we are in our kindergarten area, and one of the things I love about our kindergarten area is that it's kind of self-contained. We have our classrooms here, and the kindergartens have their own bathrooms in this area, they have their own water fountain, and their very own entrance to the playground. So let's go check out the playground now. So here we have our playground. This playground is exclusively for kindergartens and grade 1s to play on. You can see we've got a beautiful playscape that features a really fun hill with a tunnel running through the middle of it. We've got places for climbing, places for sitting, lots of green space. We have a sandbox and a stage to perform on. And so the whole area is really designed to encourage students' creativity in a fun and safe way. This here is one of 3 kindergarten classrooms, and all of our kindergarten classrooms are identical in size and layout. So typically in a kindergarten classroom we have where the instructional activities happening on this side of the room, and on the other side of the room we do more play-based learning type activities, centers, things like that. Right now you can see we have a lot of separate desk space due to COVID, but typically it would look different. We like to encourage a lot of collaboration, teamwork, community in the classroom. And so now in our current situation, teachers, they're adapting to the situation and finding other ways to build community in this room. All right, so let's go check out the auditorium. The auditorium here is where we have our early years chapels every week. The kids come together as an early years community and we worship God, we learn more about His Word. We also use this space for concerts. We have a really large concert in our early years at Christmas time and in the spring, where we feature many of the musical talents that the students are developing in music class here. We also have special chapels throughout the year. We have a K-12 Christmas chapel, Easter chapel. We have Thanksgiving chapel. In February, we celebrate the love of God through a friendship chapel. And one of our favorite things to do in early years too is have a grandparents chapel and have our grandparents come and celebrate them. So this is a really useful space. It's used by K-12. It's used by early years frequently to draw in our community and have some of that relationship building. So here we have our small gym, and in our small gym, a lot of our earlier students have their physical education class. Mrs. Gail Sarant is our early years phys ed teacher, and she does such a fantastic job of engaging students in a lot of activities that are meaningful. They're learning about all the basic movement skills, whether it's skipping, jumping, hopping, running, throwing, catching, so many more. And what I really love is in the kindergarten class too, she teaches all the students the names of their muscles. And so they become quite proficient from an early age in a lot of those skills. And so not far from our small gym, we have our South Hall. And our South Hall is really a gathering space. It's a gathering space for our high schools, students to congregate, have lunch together. It's a gathering space where we have parents that will have coffee together after a special chapel or concert. And it's also could be a gathering space for some of our earlier students in the fact that it's kind of a special treat. Sometimes parents will come pick up their early years child and bring them here for lunch once in a while. So it's really a space, a wonderful space with lots of light where families can enjoy. Right, so now I'm here in our school library. It's a great space. We have a green room in our library where students can create lots of projects. We have our kindergartens and earlier students have library classes regularly where they can listen to a story, sign out books for the week, and it's just a really comfortable space for our students to also study in the older grades. So here we have our Student Support Center, and in our school we have a resource teacher for every division of our school, and this is kind of where their offices are. So in early years we have a resource teacher that supports kids in the class, supports teachers as needed. We also have a literacy support teacher that supports teachers and students, sometimes in the class, sometimes in a small group. Our philosophy really at Linden is one of inclusion. And so we want to work with families on how to meaningfully include each child. So that might include meeting with a resource teacher, making a plan of strengths and needs, and then how do we incorporate that plan so that your child can reach their fullest potential. A core value of the LCS is to be a safe, caring, learning environment that focuses on the whole person. I believe that the way our classrooms are designed in physical nature, as well as the way that our teachers plan and teach the children, addresses that core value. So thanks for coming on this tour with me to check out some of the spaces in our early years classroom, and thanks for considering LCS for your child's education. Well, thank you for coming on that tour with me. And right now we have some resources that we're going to upload to the presentation. And so you can feel free to click on that and download them at any time during the rest of the webinar. I have for you a tuition schedule. You should see that pop up. I've got information on our before and after school program, as well as information on our School of Fine Arts, our SOFA program. So yeah, again, feel free, download those at any time. And next, I'd like to introduce you to our admissions officer, Joanne Ritchie. In this video that you're going to see, she is going to walk us through how to fill out an application for your child.
Hello, my name is Joanne Ritchie, and I'm the admissions officer here at Linden Christian School. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. If you are interested in knowing more about the application process, come and join me in my office, and I'll be happy to walk you through the 6 steps in completing a new student application. One way to start your exploration of LCS is by contacting the admissions office. You can call area code 204-989-6739 or email admissions@lindenchristian.org, and I will be happy to assist you with any questions that you have regarding the application process. Step 1. We have recently launched an online application platform. If you are a new family to the school, you will need to visit lindenchristian.org to create an LCS application account. There is a $100 non-refundable application fee, and please note that a credit card is required to complete the online application process. Step 2. Once logged into your account, click on the Apply Now button to fill out the application. You can save your progress at any time and come back to complete and submit the form. A paper application is available from the main school office or online at lindenchristian.org under the Admissions tab. You can download an application form and submit the completed document to the admissions office by mail or by using the LCS drop box located outside the main school entrance doors from Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Step 3. Ensure the supporting materials are included with your paper or online application. If you are applying online, you will need to upload digital copies of the following documents: birth certificate or passport, current photo of student, most recent report card, if applicable, most recent high school transcript, if applicable, and legal custody documents, again, if applicable. Step 4. Once the application has been received, an interview with a vice principal will be scheduled. At this time, all interviews will be done virtually through Google Meet or Skype. Interviews for kindergarten and early years will start in January to March, and interviews for grades 5 to 12 will begin in February through April. This happens after our re-registration process for our current school families. Both parents should accompany the student for the interview. Questions are asked to determine the educational needs of your child, as well as spiritual and social aspects of your child's education. The interview is also a great opportunity for you to ask any further questions you might have about the school. Step 5. Once the determination has been made about student acceptance, the decision will be conveyed to you. You can expect to hear from the admissions office in April via email or by phone call. In instances where Linden is not able to place your child, you will receive an email stating we cannot proceed further with the application. In some instances, it may be possible to place the application on a wait list. Applications are transferable for 1 year. Step 6, registration. In the case of student acceptance, a letter of acceptance and a registration package will be emailed to you from the admissions office for you to complete and return. Thank you for your interest in Linden Christian School. I look forward to connecting with you in the days ahead. At the end of this event, you will be taken directly to the online application. Thanks for visiting the admissions.
Well, I realize you've had a lot of information presented in this during this evening, but we want to open it up now for some Q&A. You can just put those into the chat, and we'll go through and address a number of them. And if your question didn't get answered, you can still at the end forward it to Joanne Ritchie, and she can provide some further information for you. So let's start with some questions. Go right to the first one that asks the question, how many spots do you have? Well, that is specific to the grade. Let's focus on early years. In kindergarten, we have 60 potential spots, but we have to remember that our first spots are allocated to existing families. Each of the classes in grade 1, 2, 3, 4 have a maximum number of students per class. That goes from starting in 20 in kindergarten to 24. So once we go through the application process and we have our returning families indicating that they are taking spots, then we will have a number of spots for each grade that we will put people into and let you know probably after spring break.
Does Linden have a before and after school care program? So yes, we do have a before and after school care program for children under the age of 12. And this program is available to all of the students in the school. You don't need to pre-register. It starts at 7:30 in the morning and goes till the start of the school day. And after school, it ends at 5:30. So that is a program. It has a fee attached to that, an hourly fee that you pay for that childcare. It's not available though over the winter break, spring break, those types of days, just on school days.
Next question, does your child have, do you have to attend a church to attend the school or be a member of our community? The answer to that is no. We are very open, as you've heard in our presentation, that we are a Christian school presenting a biblical worldview. We are a ministry of Grant Memorial, and we are under their spiritual leadership. But we realize individuals are at different stages in their spiritual journey. And if you affirm our mission, vision, and understand what we are doing here, we are open to all individuals who apply to the school.
Question, do you accept students with special needs? So it's really important when you have a child with exceptional needs that there's full disclosure of that in the application. And that really helps us to be able to determine how we can meet the needs of the students. So it's really important to note that on the application. And we do accept students with special needs. And so part of that process is giving us some of the information that's needed, having our resource team work alongside with the family and with administration during the interview process, and really looking at evaluating, what would be the best case scenario, and, is the school able to support your child with their needs.
Here we have a question. What is your average class size? Well, again, that'll be determined based on the grade. In kindergarten, it is about 19, 20 students up to a maximum of 20. And then we work our way up to 24 in grade 4. In grade 5 and 6, the classes are 25 and 26 as our maximum. It really depends. We do hold to those limits. We think that's important. The other thing that's important, that we do not do split grades. We always have a straight grade right from K to 12 in our different divisions of the school.
Question here, that the child registered last year for kindergarten and unfortunately was not enrolled and put on a waiting list. Do we need to apply again this year? So that's a good question. In our application process, our applications carry over for a year. So what you could do if you're interested again in applying for this year for grade 1, contact our admissions office, Joanne Ritchie, and just let her know. And those applications, the fee is transferable for a year, so you don't have to refill out that paperwork.
Question, how is the support present for those who don't speak English as their first language? We have a very strong EAL program with a dedicated teacher who works with students in EAL and a whole resource team of EAs that provide support. Those students can qualify for an extra hour of instruction every day from 3:30 to 4:30, and also individual instruction with the EAL resource team. Students who are English as a second language learners, they have to be tested and evaluated. And then again, just like the limits for our different classes, we will accept a number of international students and a number of EAL students into our program. The whole key in all these situations is our ability to fully support the students that we take in. But that is a really important part of our school, to have the diversity that is present in that program.
Will all students from primary school directly promote secondary school? Is there any exam or test to pass? So no, there isn't. All of our students that are current students of our school do not need to take exams as they move through the grades. You just need to re-register your family each year for a spot for going into high school.
We have a question really as far as academic ranking, as far as math and English. The only tests that are provincially widely given are the grade 12 exams. And our school typically scores between 10 and 18% higher than the provincial mean. The last number of years, our pre-cal students, every student has passed, and there's been exceptional scores of over 18% higher than the provincial mean. So ranking very well. The other factor is that our students, 90% of our students will go into post-secondary, all different faculties, and they are excelling in those different areas based on the instruction and the foundation they've received here.
Are there educational assistants available for early years? And if so, how many for each class? Well, that's a good question. We do have several educational assistants throughout the school. I think we have about 25 in our school total. And so they work in different areas. And so the way it works in early years is we have some support consistently in every kindergarten class. And then we have a number of other EAs that will work in classrooms based on the needs of the class. So there's not necessarily an EA all day in a classroom, but the teachers, we assess the needs and we help place those EAs most where needed within the classroom. So there is some EA support in every class.
Good question here. What are your requirements, qualifications for your teachers? what are the continuing educational requirements for your teachers? First of all our teachers have a certified Manitoba education degree. To be able to teach at Linden, that is a requirement. We put a very high premium on ongoing learning and growth as a professional. We want our teachers continuing at university. Many are doing post-bacs or graduate studies. And we want to be a learning community that is practicing best practice. So very high responsibility as a professional to continue on that. And it's part of the evaluation process that the senior administration team follows through with all their teachers.
How many spots do you have for grade 3 and 4? So in both of our grade 3 and 4 classes, we have 3 classrooms of each of those grades. And in each classroom, in grade 3, we have a maximum of 23 kids per class. And then in grade 4, we have a maximum of 24 kids per class. And in our application process, the first thing we do is we accept re-registration for current school families. So it really depends on which families are coming back as to how many open spots we'll have. Our families re-register during the month of February. And, you know, sometimes families move and spots open, but it's really kind of hard to determine at this point of the year how many spots we'll have available, but they do become available.
We have a question related to if LCS has remote learning at all. Well, during the pandemic, like all educational institutions, we had to pivot really quickly, and we were able to provide remote learning for the entire community last spring. Now we're at a place where we are providing remote learning for any family that has a medical need or an exceptional circumstance for our that we walk through with them. Yes, we are fully equipped to do remote learning, but with that parameter. We're not offering remote learning and classroom learning unless there is a medical need in our community.
A question about arrangements for students who are more advanced or lag behind in the early years. And yes, we definitely address that in the classroom. It can come through a variety of ways depending on the student's strengths or needs. We really try to focus on where students are at their unique level, and then how do we move them along if they're lagging, what kind of supports. We have several resources available from our resource teachers to support in that area. And as well, students that are way ahead, and how can we meaningfully enrich what we're doing in the classroom. So we definitely try to really look at all those needs.
We have a question, are there any pastors involved in the school? Well, as we said, every single one of our teachers are followers of Christ. They provide support in that training in a biblical worldview. We have a spiritual care team in the school, which really focuses more on the middle years and the seniors. We have 3 people involved in that, and they lead chapels, they provide counseling, and they also provide spiritual support to families, almost like a spiritual practitioner that are practicing in some of the hospitals. But it's an important part of our program. But as far as having a pastor for the school, we do not have that.
As kindergarten moves to grade 1, how do you determine the number of spaces available for new grade 1? So yes, in kindergarten, we have 20 spots for each class, so a total of 60 spots. And then as we move into grade 1, we increase that number by 3 students. So we have an additional 3 spots going into grade 1. I will say though, sometimes people move out of province. And so oftentimes we have, we may have more than the allotted 3 spots available.
So we have a question, I'll just put it up here. For early years children, is there any homework? And how is that handled with remote learning? There is appropriate homework for every grade. We believe that should be something that progresses from grade to grade. Early years obviously are doing a significantly less amount of homework than our middle and high school students. It's important that as students are reading at home, and you as parents are supporting us by reading at home, but in the early grades, K to 2, there is minimal homework. How is it supported as far as remote learning? Well, the students that are in remote learning, they get assignments, they interact with their teacher, and there's support there too. But they would have the same amount of homework as the students in early years. Now, saying that, sometimes there's projects and there's more work that's done at home. And sometimes a student that may need extra support, let's say in the area of reading or spelling or one of those areas, or math, there may be additional things that are sent home to support the student's learning.
Are all teachers Christians? Yes, this is a very important aspect of our school and our school culture. All of our teachers and employees at Linden Christian School are faith-filled Christians. It is important. We have a statement of faith that we believe in and that we teach to the children. And, you know, this is just a very important aspect of our school.
So at this point, we will conclude the online questions. There are a couple more, but I'd ask you to send those to Joanne Ritchie, or if you'd like to email Heather Karr, she will be able to respond to you. So I want to thank you for those questions. We will follow up with any additional questions that can be sent to admissions@lindenchristian.org. So I want to thank you for joining us this evening. Before we leave and conclude this evening, I encourage you to download the handouts. And once this event ends, you will be directed to the online application portal where you can create an account to apply to Linden Christian School if you're ready at that point. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening. We look forward to further connections with you and your family.
Thank you.